Hi, everyone. It's Savannah Guthrie and Hoda Kotb from the Today Show.
Nobody does the holidays like today. From festive performances and great gift ideas to tips for the perfect holiday feast.
Join us every morning on NBC and make today your home for the holidays.
At Navy Federal Credit Union, every day is Veterans Day. Navy Federal serves more than 2 million veterans by providing the support they need to succeed financially. They offer members exclusive rates, discounts, and perks. 45% of their employees are directly tied to the military, so Navy Federal understands the needs of the veterans they serve.
That's right. And Navy Federal donates to not-for-profits focused on veterans like The Mission Continues and Rebuilding Together. And remember that active duty veterans and their families can join Navy Federal. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/veterans. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Dear Toyota, I need a word with you about your Crown family. Suddenly, I love traffic. Rush hour is my happy place. In the comfort of my Crown, I feel on top of the world. This is strange though, right?
The captivating Toyota Crown family. Toyota, let's go places.
Wasabi Technologies is purpose-built to free businesses from skyrocketing storage costs and unpredictable egress fees from those old and top-heavy legacy providers. You know, the big guys. Wasabi is the go-to provider for professional and collegiate sports teams around the world. From Wasabi's AI-enabled intelligent media storage, Wasabi Air, to the industry's only cloud storage service with triple protection against cyber criminals, Wasabi is driving innovation in data storage, all for up to 80% less than those other guys. Try them out for free at wasabi.com.
Are lingering depression symptoms affecting you? If you're on an antidepressant and still struggling with lingering depression symptoms, ask your doctor about a lift in relief with Vraylar, cariprazine. Vraylar is a prescription medicine approved for use with antidepressant medicines to treat major depressive disorder, MDD, in adults. Adding Vraylar to an antidepressant is clinically proven to help relieve overall depression symptoms better than an antidepressant alone. Results may vary. Vraylar is not approved in elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis or for people under 18. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Report unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, as these may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Difficulty moving, tremors, slow or uncontrolled body movements, restlessness, feeling like you need to move around, nausea, constipation, insomnia, dizziness, increased appetite, and fatigue are common side effects. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. For a lift and relief, ask about adding Vraylar, Vraylar. Visit Vraylar.com or call 1-877-6-VRAYLAR to learn more.
Episode 466, 5 Reasons You Impulse Shop and How to Resist.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And today we are talking about the root causes of impulse buying, which is very timely for the season that we are in.
It's not an exhaustive list, but it is the top 5 reasons. It's the most common of the list. And so we imagine that you'll probably find yourself somewhere within these 5, maybe a couple of them, but we've realized that if you can identify what your kind of spending kryptonite is, then you can be better equipped to respond to it and kind of nip it in the bud, so to speak. Not that we will never, ever again impulse buy, but if we can understand ourselves better, the way that we tick, the ways in which we impulse shop, then we're not just throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks. We can be really pointed with our efforts of finding new patterns and just choosing more beneficial ways with our money.
Yeah. And I love that we're doing it right now, because this is the time when every single one of these will be at play, and you'll get to learn a lot about yourself in a short period of time, the root causes of why you impulse spend. And we hope you'll look at it in a non-judgmental light. And this episode will just help you learn more about yourself, plan for these things, and do better in the near future or in January.
But first, this episode is brought to you by things you can't resist.
You don't want to.
Like hot chocolate on a cold day, the urge to sneeze, the desire to Google every medical symptom you ever have, picking up tongs and clicking them together, the 2nd through 10th and beyond chip. There are things in life that are simply irresistible, so you might as well just give in. Kind of like pre-ordering our book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. If you're not going to stifle the sneeze or keep the tongs silent, don't even bother waiting on this book either. It's a game changer, and it will help you manage money better, spend better for the rest of your literal life. BuyWhatYouLoveBook.com. Actually, we also talk about these reasons for impulse spending in the book.
This episode is content straight from our book. If you've never listened to the show before, we Google topics and then we'll take results on the first page and we'll go through them and tell you what's fluff, what's playing the algorithm, and what is actually real life. But this particular episode, we are taking what we have learned about impulse spending, what we put in our book, and we're going to give you a primer on it as you await your copy of Buy What You Love to come in the mail. And if impulse shopping is something that you have found you really need to get a handle on, again, we're not against all impulse shopping. You won't be able to plan every single purchase you make every day, right? That's what impulse buying is. It's unplanned spending. But if you feel like yours has gotten out of control, then we have a lot of episodes for you to queue up after this one, like episode 430, 4 ways online stores get you to impulse buy. So we talk about marketing in that one. And episode 378, psychological reasons why we impulse buy. So we go a little bit more deeper into the psychology and kind of brain stuff if you're like a science geek. I love that one. So let's get into the first reason. And I think this might be my top one. It's why I put it first. Maybe it's not yours, but for me, habit spending. So this is just mindless spending, the spending that maybe at once did have a purpose, but time has gone on to where it's just become habit. And now you're spending unplanned over and over without fulfilling the original reason that spending may have done it. And the reason I say that specifically is we talk about our friend Paige. You might know her, Overcoming Overspending, on TikTok and Instagram. She's a good friend, and we interviewed her for the book. And her story is that she had a job right out of college, and she started buying stuff for her new corporate job, a new wardrobe, shoes, all the things. And she got into the job and realized she didn't love it. And so then she started continuing on with this habit of buying to escape the job. And so she went on this journey to not just get at the root cause, because the root cause was her job, but she couldn't fix that overnight. But there were things that she could do to fix the problem overnight in the meantime. And so we want to talk about root causes, but we also want to talk about in the gap between identifying and actually solving the root cause. There's a lot you can do.
So if this one is you, it's important to be able to identify ways to interrupt that habit. We talk about cue, craving, reward. This obviously is not our idea. It is the habit loop. Plenty of books around it.
Atomic Habits, The Power of Habit. It's all there.
Yeah. And so what we ultimately want to identify is what is the cue. Sometimes that can be location related, time of day, certain experiences become the cue, which then incite the craving, which then causes the action and the reward that we get from the thing. And if we can catch habits at the cue and shift whatever that is, find new habits, ways of relating, then we don't find ourselves in the coffee line or making these kind of mindless purchases. So if it is, let's say, scrolling on your phone at night and you are one click buying, you're shopping there, then changing up whatever that cue is. So maybe it's shifting just being on your phone at night, or maybe it's changing the immediate apps that you go to on your phone, putting different blockers in place to be able to go play a game instead of scrolling Amazon or even Instagram if that's the thing that's causing you to want to buy whatever influencers are peddling that evening.
Yeah, one of my big things that I talk about in the book is ending up in the Starbucks drive-thru. For me, that's always been a struggle, like when I was in college and I was heading to like my bartending job that I didn't love, or after I had my babies and I was just trying to get out of the house. I always like revert to ending up in the drive-thru line of some coffee shop. And at first, these were legitimate things. Like a month after I had a baby, escaping just to get a coffee was a true treat, privilege, loved it. But as my children grew up, it became less of an escape and more of a habit.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to look through my 90-day transaction inventory and identify that actually had become a habit versus an escape and a treat. So what I figured out is that it was a combination of cues, right? So if it was, it could have been like preceding event. So like my husband gets home from work and I'm like out the door. That was the preceding event of him getting home. Or time of day, like when I was heading to work in college. So those are the things you kind of have to look for. And the 90-day transaction inventory will really help you kind of pinpoint those cues, because you can copy and paste all your transactions into a spreadsheet. You can sort it by day that you made it. So you can see different times. You can sort it by retailer. So if you're seeing 10 Starbucks transactions in a row, once you've sorted it by retailer, and then you can also maybe see a connection in the time of day that those transactions were made. So it can tell you a lot. So when I figured that out, I was then able to put into place different things to treat myself that didn't cost money. So at first I invested in a pour over coffee thing, and that just didn't work for me. So it's fine. I can sell it. And then I got my single serve, my Ninja coffee bar. That worked better for me. And now I get the really nice flavored coffee. So I had to also figure out what worked for me that would incentivize me to choose the low cost option over Starbucks.
And helpful caveat here, you did kind of explain it a little bit, but for those of you who the 90-day transaction inventory is a new phrase to you, it is something that we talk about in the book. We actually, as a free resource along with the book when you purchase it, we do have a 90-day transaction inventory walkthrough. So another reason to pre-order that book, buywhatyoulovebook.com. But we talk about compiling all of your purchases over the last 90 days into one spreadsheet. Because 90 days, 3 months will give you a pretty good sense of what you're spending money on, a snapshot, because month to month things change, but that's a really good clump of time that you can then look at where am I spending money, and it will usually rise to the surface what type of impulse spender you primarily are. Mm-hmm. So that's a reason to kind of do this ahead of time or to be able to find out even what kind of impulse spender am I. So the second one here that I will point out is stress. Stress can be a big reason that we impulse buy, and we will always and forever face stress. This will not go away. So understanding kind of our stress response and whether or not it is linked to buying things that we weren't intending to buy will be really helpful for the rest of our lives. I will also add, well, first of all, stress isn't entirely bad either. There's a spectrum of stress. Technically, we are stressed when we're excited. Our levels elevate, but we can also experience all sorts of other emotions that could cause us to impulse buy, like happiness, celebration, or sadness.
Grief.
Exactly. There's a lot of just emotions that could lead us to want to spend.
Anticipation. Like looking forward to something.
Yeah. Oh man. Ahead of a vacation, we spend so many of us spend so much more thinking that we need to buy the things for that trip. So this would just involve looking at, when you're looking at that 90-day transaction inventory, if you can remember, and you won't remember for every single line item, but what was the emotion surrounding this? What maybe had happened that day that led to this spending? And you may find a pattern that, yeah, when I have a really rough day at work, I tend to spend more, or some really exciting things happened, or I was hanging out with my friends a lot and I was having a ton of fun. And so that led to me spending maybe more than I had intended to. And so with any of these, it's not about just cutting it out, right? If we could just stop, then this podcast episode would have been done before it started. But replacing it, finding alternatives. So one of the things that I love to recommend with this is to create a list of things to do when you're feeling various emotions, because a lot of times we'll just reach for the closest thing or the thing that worked for us last time. And it might be like fitting a square peg into a round hole, where that's not the thing that works for us anymore, because last time we did that and it did meet a relational need, but this time it's an emotional or a mental need. And so I need something different. So some of this then requires us to even list out mental, physical, emotional, relational. What are some common needs that come up for you, or common emotions that you might feel? And what might be something that could meet those needs? And this is almost like a dopamine hit list, that when we are looking for that thing, because usually that's what it is, when we're feeling various types of emotions, we're looking for that high that even the anticipation of spending can bring to us. And so that's important to recognize. We don't have to avoid dopamine. We can just find other ways to get it, and ways that are actually going to meet our needs. So if we are able to identify, you know what I'm feeling right now is actually loneliness. So maybe I call up a friend, or I write a card to a loved one. I plan an opportunity to get together and do a potluck with people. These could be the actions to go along with a relational need. Maybe I'm feeling really sad, but instead of spending, what else could I do? What kind of lifts my spirits? For me, I know that some fun throwback music can really help me when I'm feeling down, or trying a new recipe, cooking something that I enjoy can be an alternative to me and give me some of that dopamine that I might be looking for, instead of buying something where inevitably it doesn't actually meet the need.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing with stress is that we want to hit the cortisol at the root, right? And so we studied kind of what actions can we do to really dissipate that cortisol that is heightened by stress. And so the two best things that we found, and this is based on studies that we read, are exercise and meditation. So creating some kind of room for consistent exercise, whatever that looks like for you, and then also consistent meditation. This does not have to be every day. We don't want to add things to your already full list of things to do, right? We almost want to take a subtractive approach versus an additive. But I think incorporating these two things in whatever way feels right, like what I said, when I was looking for a way to get coffee that was more appealing than Starbucks, I didn't get it right the first time. I did all this research and I was like, this is the way I'm going to go. And it just didn't work for me. But I got it right the second time. So you're going to have to play around with these things, but know that meditation and exercise are effective in solving the cortisol problem that is, leading to stress shopping. And another thing that I got an email from a listener once when we were talking about stress shopping, And I had mentioned control is a big reason why we stress shop. And she felt so seen by this. And she gave this great example. So a lot of the reasons why we stress shop is because things are happening outside of our control that are stressing us out, right? So we want to hit the cortisol, but we also want to recognize that we can't control that instead of grasping onto something else that we can control, like shopping. And so what she said is when she felt stressed, she just got this thing in her head that, oh my gosh, winter's 3 months away. My kids need coats. And she immediately went out and bought coats without consulting sales, without looking secondhand, without doing all the due diligence, just because she was stressed, things were out of her control, and she latched onto one thing she could have control over. And that's not bad, but we just want to recognize our need for control and choose something that's healthier we can control, kind of like controlling our exercise and our meditative activities.
Monarch is the modern way to manage your money and can be super helpful when trying to stick to a budget. We especially like it for the ways it can help you collaborate and get on the same page with your partner.
Monarch is the top-rated all-in-one personal finance app because Monarch helps you make smart money moves. And right now, listeners of this show can get 30% off your first year by going to monarchmoney.com/frugal.
Monarch is easy to use and allows you to see all your finances in minutes and track your spending patterns at a glance. You can also share your account with your partner or even a financial advisor so you can have the clarity and peace of mind your money deserves.
After trying out Monarch for myself, I get why it's the top-rated personal finance app. And right now, listeners of this show will get 30% off your first year when you go to monarchmoney.com/frugal. That's monarchmoney.com/frugal to get 30% off your first year.
Even if you think it's a bit overhyped, AI is suddenly everywhere. From self-driving cars to molecular medicine to business efficiency. If it's not in your industry yet, it is coming fast. But AI needs a lot of speed and computing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? Time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a blazing fast and secure platform for your infrastructure, database, and application development, plus all your AI and machine learning workloads. OCI costs 50% less for compute and 80% less for networking, so you're saving a pile of money. Thousands of businesses have already upgraded to OCI, including MGM Resorts, Specialized Bikes, and Fireworks AI. Right now, Oracle is offering to cut your current cloud bill in half if you move to OCI for new U.S. customers with minimum financial commitment. Offer ends December 31st, 2024. See if your company qualifies for this special offer at oracle.com/strategic. That's oracle.com/strategic.
Proving trust is more important than ever, especially when it comes to your security program. Vanta helps centralize program requirements and automate evidence collection for frameworks like SOC 2, ISO 27001, HIPAA, and more, so you save time and money and build customer trust. And with Vanta, you get continuous visibility into the state of your controls. Join more than 8,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora, who trust Vanta to manage risk and prove security in real time. Now that's a new way to GRC. Get $1,000 off Vanta when you go to vanta.com/special. That's vanta.com/special for $1,000 off.
The holidays are coming fast, which means time is even more of a luxury. That's why Dime Beauty needs to be your one-stop destination for clean, master esthetician-founded skincare that really works. From rejuvenating eye serums and clean retinol alternatives to indulging body oils and non-toxic perfumes, Dime has it all. And for a limited time, Dime is offering 25% off site-wide when you use code HOLIDAY25. Looking to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles? Try their best-selling TBT cream, a clean, gentle retinol alternative that has all of the anti-aging benefits of retinol without the harshness. Or in search of a new winter perfume, try Dime's non-toxic woodsy fragrance Don LeBois. Dime has over 2 million happy customers and thousands of amazing 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Go to dimebeautyco.com for 25% off site-wide with code HOLIDAY25. That's dimebeautyco.com for 25% off with code HOLIDAY25. Happy shopping and happy holidays from Dime.
Imagine relying on a dozen different software programs to run your business, none of which are connected, and each one more expensive and more complicated than the last. It can be pretty stressful. Now, imagine Odoo. Odoo has all the programs you'll ever need, and they're all connected on one platform. Doesn't Odoo sound amazing? Let Odoo harmonize your business with simple, efficient software that can handle everything for a fraction of the price. Sign up today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
So third is shopping as an activity. And so when Jill was talking about sometimes the root cause of some of our problems, loneliness. And so how can we meet that? And we sometimes will invite friends to shop with us. And this is how we kind of meet that need. But there are all kinds of like shopping as an activity things. I think when I was growing up, we didn't have hobbies or sports really. We had shopping. We went shopping every weekend. Whether it was a big box store or an outlet mall or like even a farm. So in adulthood, that led into like farmers markets and all kinds of things, like other things for me. So figuring out what can I do as an activity that does not cause me to spend money, and also what am I trying to get really with that shopping as an activity. For Paige, her spending was both habit and activity. And I really think it merged from necessity, merged into activity, and then went into habit. So how can we figure that out? For Paige, she just replaced the activity. She didn't deny herself because she still wanted to escape that job that she didn't like while she was looking for a new job. So instead, she would take her lunch to the park and she would sit in her tree in nice weather and just enjoy the outdoors. And so it was still doing an activity, but just that activity wasn't shopping.
Yeah, this is something I talked about in the book as well, that before Eric and I moved into our RV, we were living in very normal sized apartments. And I really loved to go to yard sales and thrift stores. I mean, I still do, but you'll see why it had to shift in a second. So this was something that we just did on the weekends. We didn't have a ton of money, but we could afford things at yard sales and thrift stores. And so it was something just fun to do. It was what we did on the weekends, and collect these things for less than $5. But then when we moved into our RV, I quickly learned that this can't sustain itself. I had to already do a big purge of things to downsize into living in a vehicle. And initially, I did still go to the yard sales and the thrift stores, but it didn't feel as fun to me because I couldn't actually bring anything home. And when I did, I'm like, well, where am I going to put this? What am I going to do with this? I don't have this amount of space for things. And so I was forced in many ways to then look for something different. So I did begin it a little bit more begrudgingly, a little less on purpose. But I think it helped me to realize, oh, that wasn't actually really fulfilling me in the ways in which I thought it was. It was fun. I did enjoy it. But when I couldn't actually purchase anything, and then I realized that the things I purchased were just junk that I ended up needing to sell or give away, then what am I left with? And finding alternatives to do on the weekends, which literally did lead us to hosting more. Even though we lived in an RV, it was still very fun to have people over for bonfires, or we went on more hikes. We also had a lot less to clean. So it freed up a whole lot more time to connect with people, which is really the main thing that we love doing. And that has stuck. Now, because I was forced into finding alternatives, and I then was able to realize I actually don't love that thing as much as I thought that I did. I do love these other things of hanging out with friends and finding free activities to do together. So I'm grateful for that kind of shove that I got. So maybe not quite as easy to implement this if you're not downsizing to a vehicle. But the encouragement here is that when you do try out different things, you might find something even better. And in that way, it's not deprivation. It's just learning more about yourself and finding new things you love.
Yeah. So the solution to this, I really love what Jill was saying. She took her activity and replaced it with a different activity. But not every shopping as an, well, say activity, okay, large activity, out of the home activity, right? Going thrifting and garage sailing. Replaced it with an activity of equal size, going hiking, bonfire. But not every shopping as an activity is that big. If I'm scrolling Amazon in bed and buying stuff impulsively, getting out and going for a run is not an equal activity to replace with, right? Even though exercise is good, it's just not the same. So we break down small, medium, and large activities of shopping and corresponding things you could try to replace them with of small, medium, and large size. So we don't have time to go into all of them, but that is a really important distinction that I want to make when solving the shopping as an activity problem.
Yeah. It has to meet. It has to be congruent. The next thing on here is the thrill of the hunt. And this one is also me. Hi. I do enjoy shopping as an activity. And boy, do I love the thrill of the hunt. Those red tags, yellow tags, really any color tag that mean that the price is lower than the original price. I am here for it. And if I had to dig, if I had to elbow my way through mounds of clothing to find the gem, I feel so great. That is a dopamine rush for me. I feel smart. I feel like a huntress. I feel on top of the world. And boy, do I also love to brag to my friends about the deals that I got. I started to get these reels from people like on Instagram of the people going through their home and talking about how I got this for free and I got that for $2.99. And like, they're like, this is you, Jill. I'm like, oh boy, I do have a problem.
We were at a speaking event and somebody came up to me and was like, I got the shirt for $2.99. Yes. And I was like, personally, I'm not there. This isn't mine. And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not here for cheap stuff and I'm not here to take advantage of labor by any means. But when I get things secondhand and I know what they might have cost, full price, brand new, it's very thrilling. And you know what? I'm just going to say it. I don't think you're ever going to take the thrill of a deal away from me. If I know it's a true deal, I'm loving it. But nothing is a deal if you don't actually need it. And just getting things for lower prices can leave us with a house full of stuff that now we just have to dust. And so one of the things kind of along with my downsizing, because that was part of it for me, it was both shopping as an activity and the thrill of the hunt, because thrift stores, you got to dig at. Yard sales, you're digging there too. It's all a hunt. And so I also then had to find other things to replace this. I think that there is something really primal, if I can say it in that way. In a lot of us, it probably is related to being hunters and gatherers, that we want to look for things. We want to find them. We want to pull the gem up out of the soil and claim it as ours and be so proud of ourselves. But that can't be every single time, and it can't be mindlessly when it comes to our money. But we can hunt for other things. There are other ways that we can kind of create this search and challenge for ourselves and a feeling of accomplishment. And that can take on the form of goals, setting new goals for ourselves that we can challenge ourselves with, whether it's setting a new reading goal or picking up a new hobby or re-engaging with an old hobby. or trying new recipes. I know I mentioned that one already because it is something that I really enjoy. Creating these challenges so that we can then accomplish them and experience the high that comes with that. You, Jen, also mentioned something on another podcast that I love, hunting at the library, which I really do. I haven't tried this one, but I do think it would work for me. Going somewhere like a library where the things there are free, but you get to hunt around for the thing that you're looking for. So I'll take cooking again as an example. Let's say you want to look for a new recipe. Head to the cooking section and hunt, not just look, hunt for a book that looks really interesting to you and maybe shows a skill set that you haven't tried before. Rent that puppy out. You can also ask the library for what other types of things they rent out. The library, you all know this, they do not only rent books. It's not just about books at the library. They rent resources of all sorts. They rent out museum tickets, local stuff that's happening in your area. So treat the library like your own little
Kids
hunt
crafts.
for a discount. Yeah, there's so much happening.
It's fantastic. And I would say my charge also is kind of like an anti-alternative is to stop getting the deals. Deals are tools, not trophies. So being proud of a deal it's a marketing tactic that businesses use. They would not do sales if it was not proven to get you to impulse buy more. And we talk about an exact story of JCPenney and this crazy story about how people when JCPenney stopped doing sales and just lowered their prices, people stopped shopping there. And when they raised the prices and brought back the deals, they started again. And it is insane. So I would also challenge you to just shop apart from deals and maybe detox yourself off of that.
Yes. And
deals are tools.
Yes. I love that perspective. And that's so helpful. I also will say that I think something that comes along with knowing ourselves, identifying our impulse spending, it doesn't mean that we have to totally abandon an enjoyment of making our money go further. So yes, I love deals, but I'm not impulse shopping them anymore. It has more so led to patience, knowing what I want, keeping a list, and then I am able to take advantage of the deal. So I still love them. I can still recognize that many are marketing ploys. But for instance, just this week, we've been in need of a new door that's hurricane glass, an exterior door. Eric found one on clearance, an original $6,500 door, and we got it for $1,000. So and that's not a marketing ploy.
Right.
That's Home Depot, who had a return sitting on their shelf for 3 months that nobody else wanted to buy. And we've been checking back on this store weekly for months now. I am glad that this is over because this has taken up too much of our time. Eric's been obsessed with this store. But because we were able to kind of hold it with an open hand, keep an eye on it, keep talking to the manager, we got it for what kind of discount is that? 80% less than its actual sticker price. So things like that do exist, but you're not going to just get that on a whim. Those types of things happen when you know what it is that you need. You are setting some money aside. You're implementing some patience on it. You are looking, and sometimes it goes your way.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's my other side of the coin.
I'm with you 100%. Yeah. I'm with you on doing it that way.
Because we are the same. We are becoming the same.
We're becoming the same person. It's becoming a problem. All right. So the last one we will talk about is social influence. So this is something that not necessarily social influence in being traditionally influenced by user-generated content. So we have really seen this trend towards aesthetic and perfectionism, like in social media, having this aspirational content or even non-aspirational content, just generalized content in a really aesthetic vibe. And that has led to people trying to recreate it or feeling inadequate and not bringing people into their home because they believe all they're seeing is these really aesthetic homes on social media, and they believe their home is inadequate. And we have found that is leading to a lot more impulse spending than somebody doing an unboxing video or a paid ad that is clearly, they're just hawking products for money, right? So this is something that's much deeper. For me, during our home renovation, we lived in a live-in flip for 2 years. And I followed a lot of interior designers because I'm not an interior designer by nature. I don't know what looks good. And the problem is that these people have these funds to do this because it's their job, right? And then they know what to do. I did not have the funds that they have because it is not my job or my gift. And if I'm trying to recreate this in a way that is affordable for me, which is not identical to them, how do I know when it's done? How do I know when it's enough? And I could just keep buying and buying and buying, trying to recreate all these different influencers, tips. But at the end of the day, I had to decide when my house was decorated and done, and also be patient and know that it's done for now. And if I see this one thing, then I could add that. But that's finite. It's not like for the rest of my life, I'll just see things and be like, oh, that looks good. I'll add that. I have to know what it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I feel like it kind of ties in with a bit of the habit spending loosely, in that
could be
we may start following an account for a certain season to help us in that season, and then we keep following them, but now it's no longer serving us. It's just making us more envious or thinking that what we have isn't enough. And we also have to keep redecorating, re-renovating, redoing, rather than calling it, this is a good representation of me. I'm done. I no longer need to be buying these things anymore. I know we experienced that in the midst of our renovation too. We were so used to just dropping all this cash that we had set aside for the renovation every weekend, going to Lowe's and Home Depot. And then suddenly no, we are done, the big parts of the renovation are over, we really had to identify when that hard stop was, when no, now this is no longer a need for the renovation anymore. We can be patient for the finishing touches that now need to happen.
Yeah.
I think social influence can play into that.
Same thing happened with clothes for me after I had my second child, and I was dressing this new postpartum body and I wanted to feel good about myself. Yeah. That was a good thing for that season. But then I had to, once I had bought a few new pieces, I had to stop and say okay, the rest of this, I'm going to wait until I find something secondhand or some, Poshmark, whatever, thrift store. So setting that, it is such a balance, right? That's why we say, for me, impulse spending's never going to go away, because I have this list in the back of my mind of things that I'm willing to buy unplanned if I see it available secondhand or as a deal. But if it's not on the list, it's not getting bought.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a good call for curating who you follow. It's a good reason to take inventory regularly, maybe every few months. Is this still helping me, or is this maybe making me feel discontent, like what I have isn't enough, maybe prompting me to spend more than I want? But also this happens in our own communities as well. We see what our neighbors have, we see what our friends have, and maybe they're not living in this beautifully curated aesthetic, but we could see the things that they have that are maybe making their lives a little bit more efficient, and we want that thing too. And that comes down to really understanding our own values and our own goals with money so that we can say better yeses, easier nos to these things, that the purchasing opportunities that we are presented with every single day. That social influence will always be all around us, but we will feel more confident in what we say yes to when we know what we want to be doing with our money.
Mm-hmm. You know, one thing I want to be doing
with my time.
Yeah, that I do every week, and I do it intentionally.
The bill of the week.
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the bill of the week.
Hi, Jen and Jill. This is Holly from St. George, Utah, and I just wanted to share my really exciting bill of the week. So we got the notice that our car insurance was going to be auto-renewing in a week or so, and it was really expensive. And so I started just shopping around for different insurances. And by just spending a couple of hours looking around, I was able to switch car insurances and save my husband and I over $600. So that is my bill of the week. Thank you.
Yes, Holly, this is your reminder out there. If you have not shopped your car insurance this year, it's time. It's time to do it. Do it this month and see what else is out there. They will prorate. And yeah, just do it.
Yeah, you don't have to wait until your insurance renews. This is something you can do any time of the year and compare. And like you said, even get some money back, even if you've paid in advance. One of the resources that we have that we would recommend for being able to do this even faster is Policy Genius. So frugalfriendspodcast.com/Policy Genius will help you to be able to compare different insurance prices. So thank you so much, Holly. What a great reminder. If you all are listening to this bill and you have a bill about shopping around, negotiating, lowering your bills, or a bill you don't mind paying, or your bill who pays his bills, your bill who doesn't pay his bills, you just bill living your bill life.
Or maybe you want more bills to be able to make an impulse buy. Go get less expensive auto insurance and use the money you saved to buy yourself something nice.
Wow. frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill. Leave us your bill.
For many of us, the holiday season means more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more of your personal information in more places you can't control. It only takes one innocent mistake, even if it's not your mistake, to expose you to identity theft. Not to worry, LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second and alerts you to threats you could miss by yourself, even if you keep an eye on your bank and credit card statements. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed. The last thing you want to do this holiday season is face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or other financial losses from identity theft all alone. Gift yourself the peace of mind that comes with LifeLock and spend more time doing more of the holiday things you love. Visit lifelock.com/iHeart and save up to 40% your first year. That's 40% off at lifelock.com/iHeart. LifeLock, for the threats you can't control.
The holidays are coming fast, which means time is even more of a luxury. That's why Dime Beauty needs to be your one-stop destination for clean, master esthetician-founded skincare that really works. From rejuvenating eye serums and clean retinol alternatives to indulging body oils and non-toxic perfumes, Dime has it all. And for a limited time, Dime is offering 25% off site-wide when you use code HOLIDAY25. Looking to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles? Try their best-selling TBT cream, a clean, gentle retinol alternative that has all of the anti-aging benefits of retinol without the harshness. Or in search of a new winter perfume, try Dime's non-toxic woodsy fragrance Don LeBois. Dime has over 2 million happy customers and thousands of amazing 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Go to dimebeautyco.com for 25% off site-wide with code HOLIDAY25. That's dimebeautyco.com for 25% off with code HOLIDAY25. Happy shopping and happy holidays from Dime.
Odoo is business management made so simple, a kid could explain it.
Sometimes business software can't talk to other programs. But Odoo, funny word, has every program from CRM to HR to accounting in one platform. It should cost a lot, but it doesn't. So you should use Odoo because they save you money.
Odoo makes a lot of sense, but doesn't cost a lot of sense. Sign up now at odoo.com.
That's ODOO.com.
Good job.
Thanks.
The following ad is sponsored by Pets Best Insurance Services. Your pet is your bestie. Your therapist, your preferred match. It's easy to love them, even when they sneak your snacks. It's easy to protect them, too, with pet insurance coverage from Pets Best. Because it's all fun and games until they chew on something they shouldn't. With perfect timing, Pets Best helps protect your furry friend and your budget from this imperfect world. Get up to 90% on eligible vet bills for less than $1 a day. Find your perfect match at PetsBest.com. Pet insurance products offered and administered by Pets Best Insurance Services, LLC, are underwritten by American Pet Insurance Company or Independence American Insurance Company. For all terms, visit PetsBest.com/policy.
Eczema, baby acne, and rashes. Sensitive skin on our kiddos can be so tough on them. But let's be honest, it's tough for us too. That's why I'm not gatekeeping this. So, if your kiddo is struggling with skin issues, then you need to check out Roe Wellness. Roe, R-O-E Wellness, is clean, safe, high-quality skincare products that are affordable and, most importantly, really work. And right now, Roe is offering up to 40% off for Black Friday. That's right, up to 40% off. You've got to see these incredible before and afters, along with their 5-star reviews. Moms are calling Roe a magic elixir. Amazing. Wow, wow, wow. And a staple in our house. And it's no surprise, Roe Wellness was created by a pediatric nurse practitioner and mom of 3. She gets it. No long-term steroids on our kiddos. Just gentle yet effective ingredients that parents can trust. I highly recommend the Power Pair. It's a bestseller. Check it out. Go to rowellness.com for up to 40% off. That's ROEwellness.com for up to 40% off, but only for a limited time. ROEwellness.com.
And now it's time for the lightning round.
All right. When do you allow yourself to make impulse purchases? This is our vulnerability round. So we've been quite transparent in the fact that we make impulse purchases. There is no room for planning 100% of your purchases, which is why we don't love traditional budgets. We definitely have our own way of budgeting, or as we say, making a spending plan, which we talk about in the book. So I would say, again, the list. And I know you're gonna
do it.
Probably, okay.
Yeah, say it.
I have the things in the back of my head that I know I will spend money on if the opportunity arises. The list is short. It's very short. And I keep it short so that I can change, like I can reconsider if something should even be on the list. I will keep wish lists on Amazon for things for a very long time and wait for them to go on sale. But very often sales on Amazon are not real. It's usually a price increase to show a decrease. So yeah, it has. And that's one of there's been such a rise in deceptive sales marketing that, and I read about it so much that now sales infuriate me. And that's one of the reasons that I just don't like sales. Mm-hmm. But I do wait. If I can get a deal, I know I can get a deal, I will wait. So yeah, it's my list.
Yeah. For me, there's a couple of things that converge with my impulse spending. And the first is similarly, my list, I do have to write it down. My brain just doesn't work the way I want it to. And I just pulled it up right now to see, okay, what do I have on the list? A TV console table. This has been on the list for years. I don't think I'm finding it. I should probably, and the reason I'm not erasing it is because I actually have the measurements. So that's something else I'll do. Like if there's a piece of furniture that I want, I will put the measurements in the note for like what could fit there. So if I am out at a thrift store or yard sale, or you know me, and I find something, we also keep a tape measure in our vehicle, that I can make sure that that thing would fit for what I'm looking for. Haven't found one. We've lived without it for years, so I don't know if we're doing that.
I got Travis a tape measure keychain for that very reason.
Yep, you always need one. Black boots, and these have been on my list for also over a year, in part because I really like the black boots I already have, but the heel, the like coating on the heel is all like flaking off.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a part of me, like I've been on the hunt. I cannot find anything that I even like, much less in a price range that I'm willing to pay. But I love the ones I currently have that I'm starting to wonder if I just need to take them to a shoe repair place and see if they could do something to the heel of them. I think they're leather. But then the heel is just some sort of like rubber that was stuck onto it and is now peeling off. And so it's yellow underneath. Like it's not like, oh, it peels off, but it's still, the black color. It's not the case. So yeah. And lip balm and greeting cards. So we'll see. They do have greeting cards at Walmart, which is normally where I get my groceries, but I don't like them. So that's
they
something
will often
else
have greeting cards at the thrift store too.
Exactly. I will check the thrift store as well.
Mm-hmm.
Something else I will also do is just give myself loose parameters. And so like that's something that specifically I'll do with my grocery list is write down some sort of category of something, but then allow myself the opportunity to see what strikes my fancy once I'm there. So I feel like that kind of also scratches the itch of wanting to just be at my whimsy, just fly by the seat of my pants. So it'll be like, okay, I want some sort of frozen food option. I don't exactly know what it's going to be. I'm going to let myself decide when I'm there. I want 2 snacks of some sort. Gonna let myself decide what those snacks are when I'm there. So that even helps to feed a little bit of that desire to just like, don't confine me, don't pin me down. Let me have some choices, but it's still within the spending
But it also
plan.
keeps you from coming home with like 6 snacks because you didn't give yourself a limit.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening. We hope that this helped you identify some of the impulse spending triggers that you have and can help you make 1 or 2 changes heading into the new year. And if this really helped you, I highly, highly encourage you to pre-order our book. It comes out so soon. Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. BuyWhatYouLoveBook.com. And also, if you already have pre-ordered the book, leave us a rating and review on Apple or Spotify. We love to read them. Kind of like this one from Raspberry H. They say, obsessed, happens to be 5 stars. I'm so obsessed with this podcast. I listen to every episode, even if it doesn't sound like something that would interest me, because Jen and Jill are just so fun to listen to. It's like chatting with some friends. I learned so much about saving money and being more conscious of my spending. It's amazing that they've done so many episodes and still haven't run out of things to talk about.
Yes, so true, Raspberry H. Thank you so much for your kind words. And I'm so glad that you're listening to us every single time, even if it doesn't interest you. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully there's still little nuggets for you. And no, we're not running out of stuff to talk about because we're not running out of stuff to spend on.
Yeah,
so
we'll be here.
As long as we keep spending money and wondering how can we get food for less expensive, we'll continue to be here.
Absolutely. So until then, see you next time.
Leave us a rating and review and buywhatyolovebook.com. Bye.
Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Sirianni.
what is the last thing you impulse bought?
Ooh, at the grocery store, I grocery shop online. It limits impulse spending, but I have been seeing this protein bar circulating, the Built Puff. So I ordered that because I wanted to try it.
Yeah. How is it?
I haven't tried it yet.
Oh.
I just picked up my groceries yesterday.
Okay.
So I haven't tried it yet. But it sat in my cart for a little bit, for a week. Like I add things into the cart and then, throughout the week, and then review it before I check out. And I still wanted them after a week. So I bought them. So
nice.
Yeah. There we go. What about you?
Potentially, would this count? This morning, Eric and I were on our way home from an appointment, and we just decided to stop in at the local donut shop and pick up some sausage rolls, which are really hot dogs wrapped in croissants.
Yeah.
And a donut.
It's It's like a big pig in a blanket.
And I knew you were going to be here today, so I asked if you wanted something.
Because I love
you
them.
also want the jalapeno sausage roll.
Yeah.
The thing about, this is why it's so kind of loosey-goosey to me a little bit, is we do have an eating out portion of our spending plan. So it does fall into that, but it wasn't something that we had planned to go stop at the donut shop. So I don't know. I think there's so much flexibility with it too, that we can even just make room for our impulse spending. Knowing, rather than working against ourselves entirely, knowing it's going to happen and allowing yourselves the freedom to do it then when you want to,
but
within reason.
Yeah, do it in a more controlled environment that involves a little sacrifice from maybe the way you were living before, but ultimately makes you feel better and is not the deprivation that comes with the other extreme.
Mm-hmm. Well, I gotta go eat my sausage roll now.
Go for it. I already ate mine.
Yum.
Are your lingering depression symptoms getting in your way? If you're on an antidepressant for major depressive disorder, MDD, and you've made some progress, but your unresolved symptoms leave you feeling stuck, it may be time to ask your doctor about Vraylar, cariprazine. Vraylar is a prescription medicine approved for use with antidepressant medicines to treat MDD in adults. Adding Vraylar to an antidepressant is clinically proven to help relieve overall depression symptoms better than an antidepressant alone. Results may vary. Build on the progress you've already made. Ask your doctor if adding on Vraylar to your current antidepressant could help give you a lift in relief. Vraylar is not approved in elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis or for people under 18. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Report unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, as these may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Difficulty moving, tremors, slow or uncontrolled body movements, restlessness, feeling like you need to move around, nausea, constipation, insomnia, dizziness, increased appetite, and fatigue are common side effects. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. For a lift in relief, ask about adding Vraylar, Vraylar. Visit Vraylar.com or call 1-877-6-VRAYLAR to learn more.
With Kroger brand products, you can get all of your favorite things this holiday season. Because our proven quality products come at exceptionally low prices. And with a money-back quality guarantee, every dish is sure to be a favorite. From sweet sugar cookies and holiday ham to that perfect slice of pie. Whether you shop delivery, pickup, or in-store, Kroger brand has all your favorite things. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Boost your trading strategy with Signals. Unlock the powerhouse of insights that Wall Street pros use to dominate the market. Signals helps drive higher returns using predictive analysis from $70 billion in consumer spend across North America to help you capitalize on every investment opportunity. Don't wait on outdated reports. With Signals, observe the impact of real-time spending as it unfolds. Uncover tomorrow's market moves with today's real-time data and transform your investment approach with us. Start your free 14-day trial at joinsignals.com.
If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Once upon a time, Amazon Music met audiobooks, and listeners everywhere rejoiced.
Oh, yeah.
Because now they could listen to one audiobook title a month from an enormous library of popular audiobook titles, including romantasy, autobiographies, true crime, and more. Suddenly, listeners didn't mind sitting in traffic or even missing their flight. Amazon Music Unlimited now includes Audible.
No way.
Download the Amazon Music app now to start listening. Terms apply.